Okay, folks. You know, when things happen, things happen. Um, I was on one device, that device did not work. So now I'm on another device. Why? Because that is how life is. Um, life is, you know, you do one thing and you have a whole nother thing happen. So we are here right now. We are live, even though I had to go on another device, which was not what I was looking forward to. And there is Michael O'Neill Jr. Yeah, let's do that. We got some business to take care of first. Oh, goodness. It's going to be one of those beautiful days. I'm claiming it's going to be a beautiful day. Um,
It'd be great.
yes, our land acknowledgement. We at Central District Forum for Arts and Ideas would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, both past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. We acknowledge that we are on land that is stolen from the traditional home of the Coast Salish people. The Duwamish ancestors were killed, brutalized, and stripped of their humanity. We lift up their work, we hold their pain and their joy, as we honor them with our work today. Central District Forum for Arts and Ideas understands that we come from enslaved African people that endured countless acts of torture and humiliation both during and after the Middle Passage, and we are still feeling the effects of that today. We bring into this space the thousands of Africans that did not make it to see this land. The work we do today is on the backs and shoulders of the original people of this land and our ancestors who now guide us. We sit in the space to honor African people, their descendants, and to give back to the original people of this land. To our ancestors, we thank you, we see you, we invite you into this space so we can lift up your names and honor you with our work. Central District Forum for Arts and Ideas is a nonprofit organization solely dedicated to presenting emerging Black arts, artists, and ideas in the Seattle area. We believe in the value of community, creativity, identity, and passion. These values serve as our strategic frame and guide our day-to-day operations and program decisions. A mouthful. Hi, everybody who's joining us. I'd like to welcome Michael O'Neill Jr., or some of you know this human being as Majinn. And it will probably be rare that I ever call this person Majin. So if I don't, that don't mean that y'all don't have to call him Majin. I'm just saying, and I don't know what he's doing right now.
Getting a hair tie.
Wow, wow.
I don't like how my hair is looking on camera right now.
This is I don't know. It's weird because we see each other every week.
Mhm.
We work really close together. So it's also kind of weird because I'm like, what do I ask you? What do we talk about? That's it. But I'm going to start off with your Black Love Looks Like statement.
Mhm.
Your statement reads, let me read it from here. Black love looks like finding peace in yourself, knowing you don't have to conform to fit a box someone else created of Black love or Blackness. Loving all of yourself, self-acceptance, being okay with what makes you different from your partner or partners, anything a Black person wants and needs it to look like. Let me read that part again. It's being okay with what makes you different from your partners and anything a Black person wants and needs it to look like. Um, we know Blackness is not in a box. Well, some of us know that, maybe others of us don't. I don't know. Um, so when creating that statement, what was going through your head?
Hmm. That's hard because it was from a while ago.
I
Um,
know.
but I, ooh, when was it from?
Or
I
should I
don't
say,
know.
what does it look like today?
I mean, I would say today it's still around the same,
Uh-huh.
especially just the end of it's whatever we need it to look like.
Right.
Because, like you said, it's Black people in general, and Blackness is not in one box.
Hmm.
Um, and as we both know, both of us feel that way. Um, and I think that's like the biggest part of that statement at the time, and still
Right.
now. It's just that for myself and for everybody, it should just be whatever we need it to be. That's what it is.
Right.
And it's like life; it's just ever changing. Um, yeah.
Blackness is ever changing.
Hmm.
What are you bringing into the space today, and who are you bringing into the space today?
Ooh, bringing in a little bit of nervousness. Because yeah, like you said earlier, it's like we see each other and talk all the time, but now it's
I
like
bet.
in this capacity, which is different. But yeah, just trying to bring my whole self. Um, yeah, I was actually like writing about myself earlier, for a post that I'm gonna make tomorrow, uh, just for like followers and things. So yeah, just bringing in my whole self and those that have helped me get to this point, and Tacoma, because 253 all day. Little plug, etc. Tacoma, go cop their clothes, Black owned. You know, gotta support.
Um, I was going to talk about Tacoma. You grew up in Tacoma. Um, what was that like as a child?
Um, it was different experiences because I moved around a lot
Hmm.
for the majority, until middle school. Then I kind of like settled for the most part, but it was good. Um, a lot of people, less now, but looked at Tacoma as very ghetto.
Right.
Um, Partly because of violence, but I think also a big reason is because Tacoma is very diverse in the ethnicities that are in Tacoma. Living in Tacoma and living in Seattle are very different
Hmm.
because people of color are very, very spread out in Seattle. Um, Whereas in Tacoma, you're seeing people of color, Black people, all the time. Um,
Right.
so I loved it because of the diversity.
Right.
And the group of friends that I made and still have, um, and everything not being so crowded. Um, it's Tacoma's real chill.
Hmm.
Like it's chill. It's beautiful.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I always miss it.
Yes.
But it was a very good experience, growing up in Tacoma for sure.
Awesome. Someone did ask for the link of the store.
Um,
So
yes. Well, I believe. Yeah.
yes.
Just do
I
this.
also wanted to say, you mentioned something about violence, and I think a lot of times, you know me, I'm just going to get right to the point. When people look at areas that are diverse, we break that down. When people look at violence, they look at Black people being violent.
Yep.
And so that's the thing that we consistently go through. Someone brought up today, like, tell me about Detroit and what was it like growing up in Detroit. And what I told him, I was like, the Detroit people are dope. Like, no matter what you hear, what you see, like, you're going to find some of the most dopest folks in Detroit, in that area. And again, we just hear about the violence and we equate violence to Blackness, hands down, but we don't equate violence to whiteness, and colonization is violence. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
know all of those things are extremely violent. The school system is violent. The prison system is violent. The capitalism is violent, but we don't call it that because it's more so controlled by white folks. Y'all know me. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like, when we start talking about violence, let's actually talk about what's truly violent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we'll move on from there. I just wanted to throw that little plug in there. Uh, you grew up in Tacoma. You moved around. you began dancing at what age, and what drew you into especially like social dancing and club and street style dancing?
I started dancing at 14, I believe. So it was my freshman year of high school. Towards, I think we did semesters in high school. It was the second half of like my freshman year. And I had two older cousins. One of them used to be on the dance team. He like just graduated as I was coming into high school. And his little brother, who was a year older than me, we went to the same high school. And I really didn't just like want to go home after school. It was boring. I was like, no, I need something to do. So both of them were just like, join the dance team.
Right.
So I had my older cousin Marcus teach me a little something, so that I could audition. And then I got on, and then I started with choreography, because I could pick up things really fast. And then one of my friends, JC, ended up teaching me about breaking and breaking culture. And that's where I would say the passion for street and club styles really started. Because choreography, I liked it, and it brought out expression to me that I couldn't really do because I was shy, and still shy, but I was a whole different level back then.
Are you sure?
But yeah, so that started to make me fall in love with the culture of how it's supposed to be very open to others and very welcoming for others, and in a way a safer space. And so I started breaking, then I started getting into popping a little bit, all while still doing choreography. And then once, not long after I started dancing, I was like, yeah, this is what I need and want to do with my life. So I only applied to the University of Washington because they had a dance program, and started to do that. I was doing choreo throughout high school and college, and getting into different street and club styles. And then I got into house while working with Amy O'Neill in the cast of Opposing Forces. And then I met you. And then it's just history with Amy, you, Circle of Fire Peeps and stuff with house.
Right. And so, like, thinking about like social dance and all of that, we're gonna get through the history of like, especially UW. But thinking of social dance, what has changed from you beginning at 15, 16 up until now?
Ooh, learning.
Especially in the Northwest area.
Learning history and teaching the history. Like I said, when I started with choreography. And I was very much so, I'm just going to teach you this choreography. I'm not going to give you like any background on moves, mostly because I also didn't know background.
Right.
But then as I continued to teach and continued learning for myself, it was like, no, it doesn't feel right to just teach this stuff and not give any type of background knowledge. And I feel like that's how a lot of people start, but they don't end up making the choice to actually start teaching knowledge because some people may not want it, etc. Whereas for me, like, I can't separate the two, because that's more, what is the word? More erasure. More erasure of the culture,
right?
In the communities that these dance forms come from. And we can't do it. It hurts the soul to just be like, this is this. We're not going to go any deeper. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, let me just chill out and relax and just talk to you like we normally talk, because I'm like trying to be all like, I have these questions, and I'm just like, not interested in those questions. I'm interested in the questions, but in a different way. So, knowing you For the years that I've known you. Yes, you are very quiet, you're very shy, but you also have a lot to say, especially when things are not kosher, to say the least. Um, what has been some of your battles inside of the street and dance and club world?
Ooh. Um, Literally battles. um, yeah, I've been a part of the battle scene. Um, I do see the good in it for sure, but a lot of it is very surface. Um,
Mhm.
and community and the way that people just throw around the word community. Like we're around each other, so we're community. But it's not community because there's no actual like connection between people. Um, there's no checking people that are a part of your community to make sure others feel safe. Yeah, there's lots. There's lots.
I
So
mean,
that's
yeah,
that's one battle. Another is also finding where I wanted to fit in different scenes.
mhm,
Because first coming in, like my biggest goal was to branch um, like street and club styles and concert dance because I was going to start learning modern and ballet. And I was like, I want to bring these two worlds together because I'm not just one type of dancer any longer. Um, so that's always been a constant struggle of where I'm uh, putting my time
right.
and how to keep that balance. Um, and as the years went on, it's become easier, and it's more so where I'm like now I'm doing whatever styles I want to do, and I'm performing them in concert settings,
Right.
and it's all authentic to me,
Mhm.
and having me. It's my space. Um,
Right. I think like there's a few things that like if going into the battle scene, and I talk about this often, the idea of like blackface, and again, we don't talk about those things. I'm not crying, people. My eyes are just watering. Um, we don't talk about. We see these ideas of diversity. We see these ideas of like, oh, a street and club dance, especially in Seattle. But when we peel back the layers of blackface, we pull back the layers of anti-blackness in those spaces that people don't talk about. And again, there's disruption doesn't happen. Interruption does not happen. I see a lot of times in those spaces, especially cis black men are upheld, and even black women are not upheld. And a lot of these street and club dance styles are on the backs and the labor of black women, black trans women, queer black people, and things like that. So also just wanting to bring that into the space again is that it's it can be a really beautiful thing, and it's also extremely problematic.
yep.
And people are afraid to talk about the problems again, upholding and holding on to like clout and power. And then thinking about, like, I was just like you, like I'm going to bridge the together these street
Mm-hmm.
worlds and these ballet worlds and these modern worlds, and inside of that was upholding white supremacy, white standards of being. Because the concert stage is the place where the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn this in your neighborhood, you learn this in your street, but it's nothing magical about that.
Mm-hmm.
But it becomes magical when white people or other people go to your neighborhood, strip you of your dance, of your culture, and then sell it back to you and put it in the on the on the stage, the magical place, the concert stage, where you're supposed to get love and respect and clout. Um, but they also want you to whitewash things down.
Mm-hmm.
You graduated from the University of Washington and you are teaching there. You are a mixed race black male bodied person. And that also in those settings, especially inside of whiteness, gives you a certain privilege. And now you're teaching there. What has that art been like? What has transpired inside of you to change what took place when you were a student there?
Hmm. Hmm. A lot of discussion for sure. Um, a lot of reflection, not just with myself, but with peers that had different experiences at the university in the same department, because I'd say for the most part, because they were femme. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like back then, I definitely didn't recognize the male privilege for a lot of stuff, um, like getting cast in like dances and things like that.
Right,
Sometimes I did, but I was also like, I'm also working my ass off because I don't do these styles.
right,
Um, but yeah, a lot of discussion and listening to other people's stories, and then really like reflecting on my own experiences of being like, one, I'm only the few hip hop dancers that like became a major um, because I was so open to like learning other styles.
mm-hmm.
But it's also because hip hop and everything else wasn't offered. Or if it was, it wasn't really part of the major or getting you towards that degree. Um,
Right,
and really, everything else was like an elective if it wasn't ballet or modern. Um, and it's still semi like that, but of course, we've made um, progress in changing how that looks. But yeah, realizing like I'm one of the only like I'm trying to remember like my graduating class, maybe like 10. Like it's not a big like cohort, but like 10 people of color.
right,
Um, yeah, so like again, talking to different people, and then reflecting on like, wow, this wasn't as good as I thought it was after reflecting,
right,
and not wanting other students to have those same feelings,
right,
and not wanting them to feel like they don't have a community, um, whether it's with other students or faculty. Um, yeah, so a big part of what I do in general, as you know, is giving support to others. So
right.
really wanting to like have a support system for other like students of color that were going to be in the program, because it is a great program, but like lots of things, it has its problems.
Right,
And again, the educational system,
right, right.
it's not
I
for us.
see. Not for us, no. I want to bring it to the play also. And again, people, me and Michael are close. Like he's one of my very close friends and someone that I love dearly. So we've had these conversations. So if you're like feeling like what I'm about to say is like, oh my God, it's like we've had these conversations. Um, you are a light-skinned mixed race black person who is racially ambiguous inside of the university setting that also makes you safer and dangerous at the same time.
Mhm.
It's, let's just call it what it is. So you mentioned about being cast and things, and yes, you work your butt off. I know that for a fact. So that is not to say that you don't work your butt off. And we also know that when it comes down to black males, white women specifically, tend to open the door a little bit wider for reasons of I want to save you, for reasons of I'm sexually drawn to you and all of these things. And I just bring that into play to like thinking about the school system, thinking about the ideas of the university system also. We both work at the university. We both teach in a dance department. And even conversations, I am darker than you. And I can feel the difference in conversation depending on who
Mhm.
I'm talking to and who's talking to me. as opposed to you. And it's not a like we are on the same page. So I
Oh
don't want
yeah,
people to
yeah.
think like there's no jealousy. There's like that's my love. Like you mess with Michael O'Neill, like I'm going to kill you. So it's not that at all. But again, even moving through the students,
Hmm.
um, when I first came on board and you were coming in at the same time, there were a group of darker skinned black film identified students who went through some issues with one of the professors and even how that was like spun around. And again, I'm just bringing this stuff up so that people can understand like these real conversations, especially in dance, and how race plays a part of that inside of the battle scene and inside of all of that. And now you're teaching there. You were at the end of a student, and now you're guiding these people through this practice. Um, how do you educate them to make sure that those dynamics don't play out in your classroom setting?
Hmm.
How do you dance to do that, I should say specifically?
Um, I try to move authentically as myself. Like I said earlier, day one is always like, this is what I want you to learn so that you can be more yourself. Um,
Right.
I'm never, day one, I'm always like, I do not want you to dance like me because you can't. Um,
Exactly.
my classes, my movement, everything, none of it is to make anybody the best dancer ever. It's so that you have more information about yourself and your body. Um, so that's like, that's how we start off classes. I'm like, we freestyle a whole lot because that's, it's hard, but that's the easiest way to see somebody
Hmm.
when they're moving authentically. Um, we've said it before. I don't know who I got this from. It might have been you. It might have many talks. But your words can lie when you're trying to say who you are or what you're about. Your body can't.
I think I say that often.
Like, so that's one of the things that, you know, both of us are always telling our
Right.
students, like, we're going to give you these things. Here's the template, but who are you through
Yeah.
this? Um, that's who we want to see. And this space is a space of support and not judging somebody for being themselves,
Right.
but uplifting who they are.
Right. You all of these markers. So if we strip away all of the markers of your identity that we put on you, who is Michael O'Neill Jr. and how has dance allowed you to discover that?
Whew, whew. Um, I think I'm just somebody that wants to learn um, more about themselves and just the world and other people in general.
Mhm.
Constantly trying to learn and be better than I was the day before. Um, but I think the main reason is like, so I have a deeper sense of self, um,
Mhm.
and who I am and what I want to put out to other people. Um, yeah, and to support. Yeah, also just to support people. Like, I like to help folks.
I think like you're very logical. You're very reflective. You care about not only the art form but the people engaged in that. Um, a sponge. Like you're definitely a sponge. Like you soak up as much as you can. And I mean, what people may or may not know, like um, Michael O'Neill started out as my assistant, and I hate that word so much, but he co-pilots a lot of things and a lot of projects um, that that we move through, uh, definitely he holds me accountable. Like, have you eaten today? Are you resting? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? I'm just like, I thought my daddy was in Detroit, but in the best way, this person uh, holds me accountable and keeps me lifted up. The other thing, you dance for you is such a huge language, a huge part of how you communicate and why you communicate. Um, why is that? Outside of being shy, like what else is it about dance that draws you in?
Like I said, I think it's the expression, and freedom for sure. Um, getting lost in music, um, and being conscious of it, but also not at the same time, is a very powerful feeling.
Mhm.
Um, as we've said before, catching the ghost, vibing out, zoning out, many different terms of, that we can say. One that just popped up that I've never used before is like being in harmony.
Mm.
Um, yeah, like being in harmony with the music,
Yeah.
and for myself again, not especially with freestyle, not necessarily thinking about what I'm doing, but knowing I'm expressing myself and in some way what the artist was trying to also represent, with their music. Because for us in general, you can't have the dance without the music. And without music, I wouldn't be dancing. Like,
Right.
because I have a strong connection with music is also the reason why I dance.
Hmm.
Because it touches different parts of myself.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also and along with that, there's the music. I like that being in harmony. When you said that, the first thing, and I talk about this a lot, is about being in harmony with ancestors and the spirits around you. When you get into more social dances that are coming from the community, I think that's the thing that people miss also. The spirits are dance is such a powerful tool because you usher in so much,
Mm-hmm.
how it moves through your body, and then the ideas of being in harmony, catching the ghost, getting lost, all of those things. Like that's when something else also enters your body. That's when you're summoning things. That's when you're bringing things up. That's when you have that deeper conversation with the faith that you believe in. It's part of my belief inside of dance. Again,
Mm-hmm.
especially inside of social dance, um, it allows you to be pushed in a way, and the idea of communication, once you're in harmony with the dance and the music and the ancestors, no, you cannot lie through your body. Your body will tell you the truth. Your body will bring up things that you don't want to deal with, but as soon as you start moving your body to the rhythm and the movement and the energy, you cannot lie and dance. um we often talk about the lack of education that happens when people are entering these dance styles. And I say that like we've been through our bouts of lack of education, um, and starting to learn. What are ways that people can become more educated? And I'm talking about people that, again, they have been training in breakdancing or popping or locking or house, but still not understanding the deep rooted education that happens. What are ways that people can tap into that education?
Talk to people outside of your circles. Because I'd say a lot of circles don't have that deep education, so you're not going to get that understanding and that knowledge. For street and club styles, for the majority, a lot of the elders are still here. Reach out to them and ask questions.
Right.
Um, a lot of them are very happy to like give you knowledge when you're actually seeking it for like the right reasons. Um, Google, there's many documentaries that are out.
Right.
um, like do actual research. Uh, like if you care about the culture so much, learn about it, learn about the people. Um, Otherwise, you're probably just doing it for clout.
Yeah.
um, yeah.
I, it's you, for me, you cannot care about the culture and not care about the people that created it, that allowed you to, yes, I know you too. I will speak for myself, but I know you feel the same. And that's the thing. It's the culture is driven by the people and the people are driven by the culture. Like it's this thing, but you cannot dissect the people away from the culture. And again, I see my favorite saying, you want the rhythm without the blues. Yeah, and when we come into Black social dance, that um, any type of form of Black expression, that R&B, that rhythm and that blues, they work hand in hand. They're nothing. They're not separated. And again, I think people try to separate the fact that it's like, just give me the rhythm. I don't want to deal with Black bodies dying. I don't want to deal with Black trans women dying. Give me the Vogue. Don't give me the fact that Black trans women created this out of a space of wanting to feel empowered. Give me the house, but don't give me the fact that house music and the culture started inside of Black and Latinx gay clubs, queer clubs. So it's always interesting how people are like, like just want to get to dance, and then who they uphold in the ideas of history. That's also a thing. So just putting that out there. Um, why did dance choose you? I was going to say, why did you choose dance? But I believe like dance chooses people.
I think that's DNA. Um, yeah, I believe in past lives.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it was there before I was there. Um,
Mm,
it's yeah, it's embedded in my soul. Uh,
right,
and once I finally found it, like I said, once I knew, I was like, yeah, this is it. Um, this is what I is what I got to do. Um,
right, right, right,
yeah. So in a sense, I don't fully believe in like destiny and everything being planned out, but like for me to dance, that was that was destined. Like that was predestined already. It's like you ain't got a choice. You got to do it in some
right,
capacity, some way. You got to do it.
right. I also wanted to acknowledge that if you want to send Majin, that's what we're calling that because I'm always calling you Michael. Um, but if you want to send them some money, some coinage, their Venmo is pinned in the comments. Monealjr, M O'Neill Jr. at Venmo. Look up Venmo, send them some coinage. Um, what is next for you? Anything percolating creatively?
Mm,
Utah Dance presents.
yes, I'm working with Jen Salk for UW Dance Presents this year. We're making something, but it's stemming from gifts. Um, so the dancers are making gifts for somebody important in their
Hmm.
life. Um, and then we're going to try to put things together somehow. Um, and Paul Matthew Moore will be making music with that. Um, all the things that we are going to be talking about.
Tomorrow. That
um,
won't be online.
I really want to make like actual choreography to a lot of poetry that I've put in my like last couple pieces. So I'm slowly starting to work on that, just for not even for like a performance, just for like an online little thing.
Right.
Besides that, I mean, trying, since I have not had creative energy since before COVID. um, Black Boys took it out of me again. And everything
Yes.
leading up to that.
Yes.
And now there's like a surplus of creative energy in me. Um, Making nerdy raps, that is helped a lot.
Twitter is hilarious.
Twitter, TikTok, they'll be on my Instagram. It'll be on Wednesdays, Weeb Wednesdays. Just saying. Uh, but yeah, just getting back into a habit of having all my different outlets.
Right.
That's writing poetry or nerdy raps, dancing. I still haven't fully got back into making choreography like I want to.
Hmm.
It's usually just like basic foundational moves for teaching. But I want more like song specific movement that connects with the music more. It isn't just moves that you can do to everything.
Right.
I think that's it. I mean, that's a lot.
Yes.
Surviving 2020 and forward, because, you know,
Tuesday.
things ain't gonna change right away. Yeah, I don't really put it
Tuesday.
out there, but please vote, people.
Right.
And not,
If you have not,
yes.
you know, you know. Before we get to the last question, um, the question you always remind me of every single time, I will not forget.
You started it.
Uh,
It's your fault. It was,
right, right. Next Saturday, November 7th, we have Audra Boo on Intimate Conversations. Please check that out, 3 p.m. On Central District Forum for Arts and Ideas Instagram page. That is November 7th. And the day after that, November 8th, we have Humanity and Evolving Perspective, a co-production with Vanya C. Bynum. That's a dance series that kicks off, I believe it starts at 4 p.m. We'll have more details about that. Please look on our Instagram and our website and our Facebook page. Again, Humanity and Evolving Perspective. That is November 8th. And Showing Out 2020 will kick off on November 20th. Excited about this program. We have curated 7 Black film artists and trans artists, and they are across the spectrum. Dance styles, thought processes. Please check that out. That is an online event. And that is it. Again, it's always one of those things like we talk to each other often. So I'm just like, what do I even ask you? Like, what do we even do? But we talk to each other often. Uh, Michael O'Neill Jr. is someone that I love and trust deeply. This person I met them as an awkward young lad, and I was like, who is this weird child? But it is someone that, again, that I will fight tooth and nail for because I believe in them. I believe in what they stand for and who they are, and they're filled with so much love in their heart. So follow them on the Instagrams, which is, I just had it. I don't know where it's at. What's your Instagram?
Majinn Mike, MAJINN_Mike, MIKE.
Boom, follow them on the Instagrams. I was like, I have it somewhere. So to end it, you know the question. You
Uh-huh.
know the question that I can no longer not ask anybody. What is your joy?
Yeah, I was trying to think of the answer like beforehand to make it easier. Um, I mean, seeing your face, of course, always is joy. Um, yeah, again, just having creative energy.
Yeah.
Like it's still overwhelming
Right.
from not having it for so long and then having it and then leaving real quick. But for it to stay here, but constantly for the past 2 weeks, and it also make me want to do millions of different things. I'm like, this is great. And whew, okay, I have time to breathe. But yeah, feeling creative again is a very, very big joy for me right now.
Awesome. Awesome. I love you dearly.
Love you too.
I'll see you tomorrow. That's why I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow. Is that a light ring that's in your glasses? See, I just bought one. The
Nice.
glow.
Yeah, I
I
bought
was
one.
so resistant to these ring lights.
Same. And then I used one for wrapping, and I was like, okay.
They're everything. I'm like, they're just everything.
Yep.
Anyway, you are welcome, Gabriella.
Yes. Thank
Hey,
you,
you're
Gamma.
welcome. Thank you all for tuning in. This will be posted in our podcast on Spotify and also on our YouTube page. And that's it. I will see you tomorrow. I love you.
Love
And
you too.
I will talk to you soon. Deuces. Bye, everyone.